hope I see some wildlife today.
Imagine a community potluck in a coastal Alaskan town. 100 people have gathered to vote on the main dish for the evening. The options: candied salmon, king crab, blueberry pie, and moose poo. Salmon leads with 49 votes. King crab gets 24, moose poo 17, and pie 10. Normally, salmon wins easily, but under these rules, moose poo surges to 51, overtaking the frozen salmon to win. This outcome isn't the result of a miscount or a fraudulent ballot box. It is the calculated, intentional result of the voting system itself. This creates a systemic paradox. A method designed to find consensus instead builds a mathematical path for the least popular choice to defeat the candidate nearly half the room wanted. This bypass of traditional majority rule is the core mechanic of ranked choice voting. The process begins by identifying the candidate with the absolute fewest first choice votes. That candidate is instantly removed from the board, which in our potluck is the blueberry pie. Those 10 votes are not thrown away, they are redistributed to the voter's secondary choice. Since the pie fans all listed the joke option as their backup, those 10 votes transfer over, raising the moose poo total to 27. Next, the system looks for the new lowest performer. The king crab, despite having 24 original fans, is now the smallest bar left, so it is systematically knocked out. The crab voters also have their secondary choices activated. All 24 of their votes dump into the joke options tally, allowing it to reach 51 and overtake the salmon. The 49 people who voted for the salmon never had their secondary choices counted. Because their candidate was the strongest, it was never eliminated, effectively locking their ballots while the smaller groups decided the winner. This transforms the election into a game of attrition. The system rewards the candidate who can hang around long enough to collect discarded votes, even if they started with very little support. Ranked choice voting prioritizes the least objectionable backup option that survives a series of automated transfers over the candidate the majority actually preferred. Why would a state move toward a system that produces these counterintuitive results? A deliberate top-down initiative pushed in 2020 replaced the state's traditional voting process, bypassing any local grassroots demand for the change. This was fueled by the Arabella Advisors machine and a network of billionaire-funded NGOs that poured millions of dollars into Alaska from out of state. By introducing these complex layers of elimination and redistribution, these groups created an environment where candidates who lack broad first-choice support can climb the rankings through the exhaustion of other ballots. These outside networks effectively used Alaska as a testing ground for a system the populace never asked for. The traditional measure of majority rule has been replaced by a system of automated vote transfers that can override the initial preferences of the electorate. Voters have a chance to reverse this November with ballot Measure 2. Measure 2 is designed to completely repeal and remove ranked choice voting from the state's election process. This would return Alaska to a straightforward election model, where the candidate who receives the most actual votes wins the seat. Passing this measure is a direct way to prevent outside financial networks from dictating how local elections are decided. Voting yes on Measure 2 ends the elimination rounds and redistribution tricks, restoring a system where the candidate with the most support actually wins.